So this is part 2 of our BRCGS review. Here we go again. So pcqi, register for the FDA and USDA alerts and notices. That's one, so you can get more information and learn from that. Other part is reviewing the warning letters and recalls similar to your process and product categories. And then as well as subscribing to industry-related magazines or food safety system subscriptions. Those are also great to have, so put those in your program. Obviously, going to trade shows or expos or third-party training is also looked at this point. And identify those other things that you need to apply for, for these type of requirements. The site shall have a genuine original copy or electronic version of the current standard available, and be aware of any changes to the standard or protocol that are published on the BRCGS website. So on this one, on your policy, just put it on there that you're checking it. Let's say you want to check it monthly or quarterly and whatnot. And just annotate that, for that you have the most recent copy, because sometimes, BRCGS would add a standards, like right now, we're on version 9, maybe 9.1 will show up one day and you don't know, or you're still on version 8. It might be an issue and whatnot, right? So make sure your standards are up to date, and it's nice to check those monthly, especially, they might come up with new guidelines or, or upcoming requirements, so you can get ready, okay? Where the site is certified to the standard, it shall ensure that announced or blended announced recertification audits occur on or before the audit due date indicated on the certificate. So this is a very easy task, so put it in your calendar. So if you're being audited in October, you want to start preparing or start reviewing your process, I'd say 5 months out, especially your programs. Make sure there are no changes. Obviously, if you're doing this every day, which is super highly recommended, then you don't have to worry about it. But part of this is really having your team available during those audits. So if it's scheduled, for example, for October, let's say October 15th, make sure all those vacations and PTOs and all of those things are already scheduled around that audit, because you're going to need your team to be there, to discuss all of these things, with the auditor from the certification body. Okay, so the most senior production or operation manager on site shall participate in the opening and closing meetings of the audit for recertification to the standard. So obviously we talked about, just on vacation. So make sure everyone's available. PTOs and vacation are scheduled around the audits. If not possible, make sure you apply the primary, alternate, and substitute protocols. So we, that's the kind of things that we teach. What if your key person is not there? But in this part of it is your senior team. Maybe they're going to a trade show. There's a business development expos and whatnot. What if they're not there? Who is their designated replacement? Relevant department managers or their deputies shall be available as required during the audit. A member of the senior management team on site shall be available during the audit for a discussion on effective implementation of the food safety and quality culture plan. The site senior management shall ensure that the root cause of any nonconformities against the standard identifies at the previous audit have been effectively addressed to prevent reoccurrence. So you're going to review. So if this is your first time, obviously you do not have that report or part of your findings yet, or maybe you have got us to participate and actually do a deep dive audit on your implementation. And you can then review those prior to your actual certification. So some of those are going to be in CAPA form, right? And then you can also look at your trend analysis where your system is failing or improving, whatever your trending points are. The next part is the Brcgs logo, and references to certification status shall be used only in accordance with the condition of use detailed in the audit protocol section of the standard. Okay, so review that. I know you're proud of it. You know you guys are gonna get the Brcgs certification. You know how to use it, when to use it, and following their guidelines. Make sure you do that, right? Because just in case those are pointed out to you during audit. All right, we're required by legislation, the site shall maintain appropriate registration with the relevant authorities. So this one right here, if you're just in the U.S. domestic, obviously you have the US FDA and USDA standards here, and other legislation that you are being accredited, like organic, which is your your NOP program, and all of those. Now, if you're exporting, obviously, we have clients that are exporting to China, where we help them put all of those label requirements. Switzerland, Netherlands, European countries, not to name drop in countries, like South Korea, Indonesia, and things like that, where sometimes the languages for those regulatory requirements are applicable on your product. So make sure you have all of those listed out and readily available for observation by the auditor. Make sure you have the regulatory requirement based on your product claims and customer requirements. So that's another point of this, is make sure those are identified, because sometimes, especially if you have a big box store client that is you're co-manufacturing or co-packing for, and their product is let's say it's going to Canada, or it's going to Latin America or in Asia, and they have certain different requirements. Make sure those are documented, because you might be deviating from legislation requirement on this standard. You have to then justify that to the auditor. Well, we're not doing that because we're just one part of that process for this material. It's going to a next process by our customer, and this is their requirements. And be prepared to show that if you get challenged on. All right, so I put some additional notes and comments here. This might be repetitious. It's just kind of a quick summary of what we're looking at here. So on the food safety objectives, right, I put documented from all areas of the business and include targets and measures, example reviews of QMS, food safety quality culture every 3 months, to review the effectiveness of completed activities, customer complaints within 24 hours. Culture plan is reviewed within management meetings on a quarterly and annual basis to ensure effectiveness of completed activities. So these are some comments that you might want to consider. It's not a full recommendation because we don't know your complete process, but if we are putting together these standards for you, we'll put those there with our justification, with our weekly, or sometimes bi-weekly meeting or twice a week meeting with you and your team, and of course our BRC team as well. Monthly communication meetings, staff meetings include supervisor feedback and annual staff conference, documented via meeting minutes. We've talked about those type of meeting minutes. Site key performance indicator, these are your KPIs, grouped by department, production, warehouse, engineering, technical, admin, etc. KPI examples would be like internal audit schedule and completion of audits and reviewed quarterly, reduce 10% customer complaint year on year, to complete the systems upgrade program on time, expired stock beyond shelf life to be under 1%, RFT, which is not right first time, to be over 95%, DOTINF, deliver on time in full, to be over 98%. Now these are just examples, okay? So don't put these standards on yours if you can't achieve them, right? So I'm just giving you some examples of what some KPIs that are based on best practices. Part of management review outputs, future plan improvements, rollout of improvement project status and targets, which are your KPI performance, all on target to date and compared to the previous year, and appropriate performance. Next, additional notes on full annual management review meetings. Agenda points may include customer audits, HACCP, your QSTs for food defense and product authenticity, approved supplier list, internal audit, sales, CAPA, customer feedback, supplier performance, quality control stability, production performance, customer satisfaction. I think complaints was written out before, but it's here. Complaints and non-conformances, deviations, development, okay, engineering, regularity, document review, effective communication, company objectives, food safety objectives, your CAPEX, staff level resources, food safety objectives, opportunities for improvement, business risk, and opportunities, right? So there's a lot of meeting agendas you can see for your annual meeting review meetings to cover. So as you can see for that, sometimes, those are broken down on a monthly or daily, depending on the way your system is set and the way you're going to justify this with the auditor, whichever works for you, as long as you meet the standards. Weekly department meetings. So this is some of the additional note, right? Conducted for food quality, legality, safety issues. Topics include workload, quality control, equipment, delays, complaints, attended by a senior member of the staff from each department. Any out of specification or OOS product is immediately reported to senior management for action. Quarterly meetings, action, and minutes are communicated to all staff by weekly meetings. Additional notes for confidential reporting. Report unsafe product immediately. Brief all staff and make them aware of the site procedure to report to the senior management or operations director, etc. An internal telephone number available on the staff notices board, right? These are the minimum from the standards. Reflected in the staff handbook to further reflect quality culture with policy. Whistleblower definition and how to raise a concern with supporting confidentiality, external disclosure by phone or writing to independent consultants or PAWs, public concern at work helpline or website, legal protection and support. Okay. Another additional notes on updates to legislation. An external consultant can work with the site operation to keep the site updated with legislation. Regularly keep updates from regulatory and certification bodies, and any updates are communicated via email to all departments. Communicated to the team, reviewed by collating and discussing in monthly meetings. Site is aware of BRCGS position statement on the website. Can substitute to peer-reviewed journals to be updated with the latest scientific literature. EC legislative requirements, historical and known hazard associated with the raw materials and different components such as substitution and fraud. Now, prerequisite programs include pest control, hygiene, housekeeping, training, receipt of raw materials, allergen control, and stock control. And additional notes for the BRC standard. Obviously, have a copy of the standard. Site secure both hard copy and electronic copies, audit date, and then within the due date window. And lastly, additional note on senior management presence in the audit. Present throughout the audit process, including opening, site tour, document review, and closing meeting. Root cause analysis review. Non-conformance raised during the external and internal audit has been found, closed out. Evidence showed that the root cause was identified and actions were instigated to prevent reoccurrence. Each was revisited to ensure full effectiveness was evident. And of course, your Brcgs logo. Additional note, not used in any product packaging on site. Can be on headed paper for marketing purposes. So these are some of the additional notes that we had encountered. So we included that in this segment. Once again, PCQi, thank you for your viewership. And if you find value in this content, kindly subscribe and share so we can continue our food safety management system advocacy. Once again, thank you so much and have a great day. Till next time, bye for now. Contact us and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thanks again, PCQIs. Have a good one.